Okay, so far we talked about including quantitative information in the dependent variable in a regression model. That is, our dependent variable y in every case was a quantitative variable. So what happens if we want to include qualitative information as a dependent variable? So there are a bunch of models that we can use, and in this video I'm going to talk about linear probability model. And this model is used when we have a dependent variable which is binary, in the sense that it takes on a value of 0 and 1 just like a dummy variable. So we can include this type of dummy variable as a dependent variable in this linear probability model. But we'll see there are many disadvantages of using linear probability models. And one of the most critical disadvantage of a linear probability model is that the probabilities can be less than 0 and greater than 1. And we know that probabilities are always between 0 and 1. So therefore, later on, we'll talk about probit and logit models. And those models are more sophisticated and can be used to deal with this type of binary variable, as well as a variable with ordinal information as a dependent variable. So we'll talk about those type of models later in this class. So I'm going to show you this example where we are interested in knowing what determines a woman's choice to be in the labor force. So this variable in labor force shows whether a woman is in the labor force or not, and it takes on a value of 1 if a woman is in the labor force and 0 otherwise. So we're going to regress this binary variable on different variables, which include family income, education of a woman, their experience, their age, the number of kids less than 6-year-old in the house, and the number of kids, those are between the age of 6 and 18. So let's regress this model, and the interpretation here is a little bit different. So each coefficient value associated with each of these variables will show the probability of being in the labor force as a result of 1 unit change in this variable. So let me show you this using this example. So we can start by this family income variable. So a 1 unit increase in the family income decreases the probability of a woman being in the labor force by 0.0034. That is, if family income increases by $10,000, the probability of a woman being in the labor force falls by 0.034. That's the interpretation of this first variable. The second variable shows that if education of a woman increases by 1 year, the probability of that woman being in the labor force increases by 0.03. And obviously all these interpretations are ceteris paribus, that is holding all other variables constant. So if a woman's education increases by 10 years, the probability of that woman's being in the labor force increases by 0.38, which is a huge increase in the probability of being in the labor force. So this is probably the most interesting variable, which shows the number of kids less than 6 in the house. So an additional kid less than 6-year-old reduces the probability of a woman being in the labor force by 0.26. On the other hand, this variable, which shows the number of kids, those are aged between 6 and 18, has no statistically significant impact on women's probability of being in the labor force. So again, each of these coefficient value shows a probability that a woman will be in the labor force as a result of 1 unit change of that respective variable. For the second example, I'm going to use this crime1 data set, and I'm going to create a new variable ARR86, which is a binary variable which takes the value of 1 if a man was arrested. That is, if the value of number of arrests in 86 is greater than 0, and you will take a value of 0 otherwise. So I'm going to use this if-else command to create this variable from this number of arrest variable, which is already in the data set. So let's go ahead and create this dummy variable. So you can look at this variable. So see here, if the number of arrests is 0, that is the man was not arrested, this will take a value of 0. And if a person was arrested, no matter the person was arrested 2 times or 5 times, it will take on a value of 1. So let's attach this data set and regress. So this variable is showing us that a 1 unit increase in the proportion of prior arrests that led to conviction decreases the probability of being arrested by 0.16. That is, increasing the proportion of prior arrests by 0.5 decreases the probability of arrests by 0.08. So this coefficient value 0.018, it is the multiplication of this coefficient value by 0.5. The coefficient on average sentence and total time in the prison, both of these variables are statistically insignificant, and both of past time spent in the prison and the number of quarters that a man was legally employed in 1986, both of these variables are statistically significant, and both of these have negative coefficient values, and both shows that an increase in any of these two variables decreases the probability of being arrested. For example, this variable QEM, it reduces the probability of arrest in a significant way. So everything being held constant, a man who was employed in all 4 quarters is 0.172 less likely to be arrested than a man who was not legally employed. So we have to multiply this by 4 quarters to get this coefficient value. So next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to include these race variables in the model and regress this model. So again, our dependent variable is a binary variable, and we can easily include other dummy variables as explanatory variables in this equation. So here are the results. These are some of the interesting results. The coefficient on black, this variable represents if a person is black, and white is our base category in this case. So this coefficient value shows that everything being constant, a black man has a 0.17 higher chance of being arrested than a white man. Similarly, if you are Hispanic, then the probability of being arrested is 0.096 as compared with white man. So this is how you use linear probability model to regress a model where your dependent variable is a binary variable. And later on, we'll talk about more sophisticated probit and logit models, because the problem with the linear probability models, as I said earlier, is that the probabilities, they are not bounded between 0 and 1. In the next video, I'm going to talk about how to interpret regression results where you have a discrete dependent variable. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.